I trust my wife. That shouldn't be such an odd thing to say. I trust my wife. I trust my husband. I trust my partner. It should not be something so unusual or for you to see it here and say, oh, wow, that's amazing. How is that even possible? If you don't trust your partner in two specific places, we'll go through it in a moment. If you don't trust your partner in these two specific places, I'm going to offer that either you're in the wrong relationship or it's time to start exercising a new muscle. So let's break this down. I trust my partner. I trust Leslie to have my back. I trust Leslie to to have best of intentions. I trust her goodness. I trust that she'll tell me the truth. I trust that she'll love me and she'll support me. And she has never has any intention to do me harm. Those are all the places I trust her. And I'm going to put those all in one category. And it's super important, that category. The second one's equally as important. The second one is I trust that if there's some kind of breakage, if there's some kind of rupture in our relationship, a misunderstanding, um, something that we've done that really hurt the other person or that aggravated the other person or just has us kind of on edge, I trust that if there's something like that, we can repair it. I trust her in all those first spaces that she'll love me and she'll have the best interests of us in mind and that she'll care for me and she'll be truthful with me. But that second part, I trust that even if there's something that breaks, we can repair it. Those two are huge. And if you're not in a relationship where you have both of those, it's time to start either exiting, but ideally first exercising a muscle to see if you can develop that trust. Let's pull this apart a little bit. So, that first trust, the trust that she'll do the right thing with me, the trust that she'll be honest with me, the trust that she will have our best interests, that she'll love me, all those things. When those do not exist in a relationship, what typically happens is that one partner who's recognizing, oh, I don't trust them, they start closing down. And closing down can look like retreating and pulling away. Closing down can also be putting up a shield and starting to poke and starting to say, hey, I don't trust this part. Are you being truthful with me here? Or I thought you had my back and you didn't. You betrayed me. Big betrayal, little betrayal, any of those. And so when that first part isn't there, the relationship just starts breaking down. And often people don't know what it is that they need around the trust. Makes it a little complicated. If it's around truth telling, it's kind of easy to point out. Like, I need you to tell me the truth. Where have you been? That's that's pretty easy. But sometimes there's just a feeling of dis-ease, a feeling of mistrust or distrust. And that might be because you've created stories with them, or things have happened in your relationship over the months or years, whatever it may have been. Also, it could be that you're carrying mistrust from other relationships into this current relationship. Whatever it might be, there's a place to work on in yourself. Not just something you require from them, but something in yourself. That second place, that place of if I don't trust that a breakage can be repaired, then every conflict seems like it might be the end. And I've been there. I've been there in a relationship where there was some kind of blow up. And I thought, oh, this must be it. I don't think we're going to be dating any longer. This is the end of our relationship. Because in that relationship, I did not have that trust that we could repair. Quite frankly, I don't know if I had the tools to know that we could repair, but I didn't have that trust that we could repair. Now, for some, this might sound really foreign because for some of us, we believe that the perfect relationship doesn't need to have any repairs because the perfect relationship doesn't break, right? If it's a great relationship, we're not going to have any friction. If it's a beautiful, nurturing relationship, we're not going to have conflict. And that's just not possible. There's always going to be some conflict. It doesn't have to be huge, right? There's always some kind of conflict in any relationship that lasts any meaningful length of time. If there's not some kind of conflict, and again, I'm not talking big blowout, but even just little disruptions, there's not that, then it's possible that, like being honest, it's possible just kind of sweeping things under the rug. And boy, I've done that too. Let me just sweep it under the rug. It's not that bad, but those things build up over time. They build up over time, they come out sideways. So think of this all. Think of trust, building trust in the other person, but also building trust in the idea that you can repair. Think of it like a muscle. This is muscle memory to build trust. I like to call it muscle memory for the soul because it's really something internal that we're doing, not just a muscle that we can see flex. So some steps to get you to this place of trust. First, let's talk about trust of intentions. Practicing radical honesty, practicing vulnerability. That probably aren't new, but this is how we start to develop trust. Owning the stuff that we bring into an argument, owning the patterns that we have in our lives that might cause friction, praising our partner, being grateful for who they are and how they're showing up. These are things that build a muscle of trust. Being honest and vulnerable, having the ability to take off a mask, having the ability and the desire to get closer. That's how we build trust. And then there's trust and repair. How do we do that? Well, there are all kinds of great methods for conscious communication. There's nonviolent communication. There's T groups. There's Imago dialogue. Lots of different resources for how you can have conversations that are repairing conversations. And these are things that it's so helpful just to get into your repertoire, to get into your toolbox and trying them out, exercising the muscle of repair on low level things that don't have a lot of weight to them. Things like, how the dishwasher is stacked or something like that, so that you have that practice of here's things that are fairly inconsequential so that we have that in our system so that when the big things come along, we have some experiences. We've created those new neural pathways for having repair conversations. We've built up those soul muscles for trust. If you feel like trust is missing in your relationship, it's not too late. It's not too late to build trust. It's not too late to have those conversations that bring you together. It's not too late to learn the practices that can help you repair. So I'm going to give you just something to go on. Take a moment to reflect. Do you trust your partner's intentions? If not, what would you need to trust them more? What would you need them to do? What would you need to do yourself to be able to trust them more? Do you trust your partner's ability to have repair conversations? What would they need to do? What would you need to do so that you'd have that trust that, yes, we can repair? Trust isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up again and again and again as who we are. It's about lowering the masks, lowering the shields so that we can really connect on a much deeper level. And when you build these two foundations, trust in their intentions and trust in pair, then you can create a relationship where there's intimacy, there's growth, and when there's deep, deep connection, it'll continue to thrive, thrive, and thrive. That you find the place of deeper trust, deeper